Acts 17:22-28. Paul then stood up in the meeting of the Areopagus and said, "People of Athens, I see that in every way you are very religious. For as I walked around and looked carefully at your objects of worship, I even found an altar with this inscription, 'To an unknown God.' So you are ignorant of the very thing you worship, and this is what I'm going to proclaim to you. The God who made the world and everything in it is the Lord of heaven and earth and does not live in temples built by human hands. And he is not served by human hands as if he needed anything. Rather, he himself gives everyone life and breath and everything else. From one man he made all the nations, that they should inhabit the whole earth, and he marked out their appointed times in history and the boundaries of their lands. God did this so that they would seek him and perhaps reach out for him and find him, though he is not far from any one of us. For in him we live and move and have our being," from the Cretan philosopher Epimenides. "As some of your own poets have said, we are his offspring," from a Cilician Stoic philosopher Aratus. Let's zero in on one of the references in verse 28. Epimenides was the savior of Athens. The oracle at Delphi told the city to purify itself, and this long-haired Cretan poet-philosopher led the way. He made sacrifices, built a temple, and when the city offered to pay him for his services, he refused. Total boss move. Even Aristotle gives him props. So when Luke records the adventures of the Apostle Paul in Athens, he doesn't blast the Athenians as he did to the Galatians, the Philippians, or Romans. In his first letter to the Corinthians, he preaches that idols don't exist and asks, what agreement has the temple of God with idols? Paul calls idolatry a work of the flesh, opposed to the spirit, equal to sorcery. Elsewhere, the apostle admonishes believers to put idolatry to death. Instead of Paul's rebuke, the standard bearers of Greco-Roman intellectualism here in the Areopagus were offered an olive branch. The Lucan author places in Paul's well-crafted speech the words of Epimenides, one of the most beloved of ancient thinkers in Athens. "For in him we live and move and have our being." Sometimes modern Christians can fear the poetry, philosophy, and ideologies of the world, but if we're shrewd on how we do it, we can learn from Paul's example and connect people to God, who is not far from them. Paul had to read it to quote it. Of course, be on the lookout for temptation, but keep reading, keep learning, and look for ways to leverage the quotables out there to remind people that the one valid source of truth in our universe is the one God. It may be a more common ground than we think.